What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the SINNOH Cup, and this team up on the screen here was kind of a very quickly thrown together team. I wanted to utilize GALLADE in the lead and kind of see how it performs within this SINNOH Cup format. I've run a lot of GALLADE like in Ultra League and in Ultra Premier, so I kind of wanted to give GALLADE a try in a Great League setting and in this SINNOH Cup specifically. Licky is going to be kind of the bulky Pokemon on the safe swap, and then Empoleon in the back being kind of the hard counter to any Charmers that we see in the SINNOH Cup. So GALLADE in a Great League format, to be honest, kind of underperformed a little bit, but you'll see in this video I really make a lot of mistakes in some of my first battles here in the SINNOH Cup. But let's jump right into these battles. Let me know in the comments what team you've been running in SINNOH Cup, or if you've been playing Open Great League. I have a terrible lead here into a Togekiss, and then my Licky is hard punished by a freaking Lucario. That is very bad. Because all this Lucario needs to do is shield once and farm down, which is exactly what they're going to do. Now, this Lucario is most likely going to be able to burn both of my shields here. I am able to sneak a confusion upon entry there, which is good for me, able to get some more damage. But they bait me successfully, so this is for sure going to be a Shadow Ball and definitely going to one-shot. Have to shield that up. They still have a very healthy Togekiss that I need to attempt to deal with, and unfortunately, because of their shield advantage and how devastating that Lucario was on my Licky, this is going to be very tough to come back from this. They do have their own Licky in the back. But gonna throw a Hydro Cannon here. This is not enough to take out the Licky. It survives with 1 HP, and it's able to get off this Shadow Ball, which is just enough to knock out my Empoleon, and I'm just not going to be able to take out that Togekiss. Anytime the Licky safe swap is punished by a Lucario, it's really tough to come back from that. Anytime Lucario is able to get aligned in a situation where it's able to farm all the way down and have a bunch of energy stored, it has so much play in the SINNOH Cup, running that moveset of like Power Up Punch and Shadow Ball. You could even consider running like Close Combat or Aura Sphere instead of Power Up Punch. I've seen some trainers utilize that moveset with Lucario as well. So my opponent switches into an Empoleon. I throw the Close Combat here, and I do get their final shield. It was a Froslass in the lead, which if you're the GALLADE and you're able to sneak a Confusion, that matchup is pretty decent for you because the Confusion damage just outpaces there. But I swap into my own Empoleon. They are able to get to another Hydro Cannon here, but I'm going to let it go and try to farm down with my Licky most likely. So this way I avoid taking another move. And in the back is a Toxicroak. Oh my gosh. So I go into my GALLADE as quickly as possible. They still have their Froslass, and at this point I'm realizing that I can save my shield for my Licky, farm this down, and get to an Earthquake to be able to one-shot that Toxicroak. I will shield up this Avalanche. Licky might have barely been able to survive that, but it would have been extremely close. So able to land the Earthquake and take out the Toxicroak for that game there. Good game. Oh my gosh. It's a freaking maxed out XL Pachirisu. Have any of you out there played against one of these yet? This thing is absolutely unfairly broken strong in this SINNOH Cup. Honestly, if you look at the leaderboard, a lot of the people that are on the first page of the leaderboard right now are running Pachirisu in the SINNOH Cup. Unfortunately, it is a region-locked Pokemon in the Canada region, and so people that have that Pokemon as a resource, it is very bulky and really outperforms a lot of Pokemon in the SINNOH Cup. And I'm pretty sure in this matchup I get absolutely destroyed. That Pachirisu unfortunately forced both of my shields off of my GALLADE in that opening matchup. And I safe swapped the Empoleon in this case because my Licky was going to be the hard counter. But to be honest, that was just a terrible play. I definitely panic swapped there. I should have brought out the Licky onto the Cresselia. In the back is a Froslass, so if I would have had my Empoleon for this, I would have been in a much better spot. But this is very bad. They still have all 3 Pokemon alive and both shields remaining, even though that Pachirisu is very, very low. They're able to take out my Licky, and I got absolutely demolished in that battle. That was the first Pachirisu I had ever played against. I have encountered a couple more, and they're very, very difficult to play against unless you have a type advantage, being like a ground type or something like that. Gonna throw a Leaf Blade onto the Froslass, and I do get the shield there, so I'm gonna shield up in response. And a lot of times people try to catch a move on their Empoleon like this, and so I'm gonna go for the close combat, and it gets shielded once again. This is very similar to the previous matchup here. One thing that I've also noticed in Sinnoh Cup is that the amount of Pokemon that I'm actually seeing in the meta is so small. I'm really only seeing like 10 Pokemon that commonly pop up in the meta. There's so much Empoleon, it's very strong, lots of Drifblim, Cresselia, Lucario, and then some of the normal Lick users like Munchlax or Licky. A lot of Froslass for sure, very strong picks. I've seen a lot of Drapion as well. In the back is a Gastrodon, and I was really hoping that I'd be able to get to a Leaf Blade there, but I'm not able to. Really unfortunate. GALLADE is so frail. Any fast move pressure at all against GALLADE just really demolishes its health. And Gastrodon is a very interesting pick. Great response to Toxicroak and Lucario and Bastiodon, but is very easily hard-walled against things like Drifblim. I've actually seen a surprisingly high amount of Gastrodons that are running Water Pulse, so that way they're not walled by things like Drifblim or Gliscor. Gonna throw the close combat here against the Licky that came in, and then swap in my own Licky, hoping that the confusion damage I did with my GALLADE will be enough to allow me to still maintain switch advantage here. So farming up a lot here. I want to always have some energy loaded in case they want to swap out. I'll have something to throw against whatever Pokemon they bring in. Body Slam is the better move here because you get stab damage on it. But at this point, I'm realizing that they're barely out of Body Slam range, and so I'm thinking if I go for the Earthquake, this should be just enough damage that I need to knock out this Licky and maintain switch advantage, and I'm able to land it. Out comes the Froslass again, and they get more farm, which again is not super great, but Empoleon is a good response to this Froslass. Empoleon does survive one Shadow Ball, but it's going to do a lot of damage. So I'm going to shield that up. In the back is a Toxicroak. Immediately switch and get a good amount of confusion damage off. That's all I need. And now I should be able to safely farm down this Toxicroak and farm down the Froslass as well. And we're able to take that game there. Good game. I'm currently sitting around the high 3100 range. I haven't broken into the 3200 rating range yet. But the queue times are getting fairly long, and so I haven't been getting too many battles in, and I honestly have been playing a good amount of Open Great League as well. I'm kind of bouncing between Open Great League or Sinnoh Cup, whichever format I can currently find battles in on any given particular day there. Shadow Shiny Drapion? Is that a Shiny Drapion? My gosh, well, Shadow Drapion is really, really cool. I wish I had one built. I just do not have a good IV spread on hardly any of them. But Drapion is definitely one of my favorite Pokemon to run in Great League now. It's so flexible. It's so quick getting to the charge moves, and Crunch, now that they raised that the defense drop chance on it, is really, really fun to use. Gonna swap into my Empoleon here. I know I'm gonna take a Shadow Ball, but I do survive. And out comes that Torterra once again. I'm able to get off a Hydro Cannon. And then unfortunately I recognized my lose condition here. I allowed the Froslass to farm me down, and now I'm not going to be able to get to move to be able to take this thing out. So really bad misplay on my part, because I allowed that Froslass to farm me down. Unfortunately, the Razor Leaf damage was just too much on my Empoleon. So Drifblim in the lead, really bad for my GALLADE. I'm actually going to safe swap the Empoleon here, and they're opting to stay in. I do correctly shield the Shadow Ball, and then they bring out a Drapion, which I was very surprised by. But since they're up a shield and they significantly outpace me getting to these charge moves, it's totally a fine play. I do have 2 Hydro Cannons stored here, so I'm going to try to deny their move here. Throw the Hydro Cannon after 2 Waterfalls, and that does get shielded up. And I really want to win switch advantage here, because that's going to allow my Licky to get aligned to that Drifblim. I farm up as much as possible, gonna throw this Hydro Cannon, and then most likely they're gonna bring in that Drifblim again. No, they actually bring in a Bastiodon, which really surprised me. I'm not able to get to a Hydro Cannon, really unfortunate. Empoleon is also fairly glassy in the Great League. Gonna get hit by a flamethrower here. I need to make sure that I don't accidentally throw my close combat into the Drifblim. I have the close combat saved. I'm gonna win CMP against the Bastiodon in the back, and plus I'm gonna be able to farm this all the way down with Licky anyways, and be able to get an Earthquake onto the Bastiodon, and so my opponent concedes the match there. Good game. GALLADE into Rotom. What in the world? I had never faced one of that, and then out comes a Honchkrow. I think this was the battle up against House Stark, and he was just running like a crazy spicy team. Shout out to House Stark, another really good battler and content creator. Honchkrow is insanely glassy, but it also hits really hard. So going to let this Dark Pulse go through, and I do barely survive, able to farm this down. I know that the Rotom Wash is going to come back in and get some farm. That's alright, gonna throw the Hydro Cannon here. And that does a decent chunk to the Rotom. I have no idea what could be in the back. Rotom and then a Honchkrow. It could be anything. This is gonna do a lot of damage though. I do shield up the Thunderbolt, and in the back is a Shadow Razor Leaf Torterra. Gonna throw this Leaf Blade. It will hit for neutral damage because of the ground and grass typing, and I get the final shield. Just need to get to this Body Slam here, and I need to avoid getting hit by a Frenzy Plant from this thing, because that's gonna do a lot of damage. I believe this is only a Sand Tomb though, and able to survive it, farm it down. Out comes the Rotom once again. Gonna be able to get to this Body Slam and take this game. Really interesting and fun team from House Stark there. Good game. Alright, GALLADE lead into a Drifblim once again. Drifblim, really, I think if you go onto Twitter and if you follow PvPoke on Twitter, he posted like the top performers in the SINNOH Cup, or it might have been YTX Pikachu, but I saw a list of the most used Pokemon and where, like, what position in the team they're at, and Drifblim was like the #1 lead, and I think Empoleon was like a very close second. But I've seen so many Drifblim in the lead. This is really not good for me, because once again my Licky was hard punished by a Lucario, and that's just so devastating when Lucario gets that big of a farm down and has all that energy stored. Out comes a Munchlax, and my opponent played very smartly and debuffed me with Icy Wind before making this swap, because now there's just no way that I'm going to be able to take out this Munchlax. Munchlax is going to be doing super effective damage to my GALLADE as well, and the Body Slams are really going to add up. My switch clock was still not up, so I had to throw this to try to burn the clock to make a move into my GALLADE. But they're going to be able to swap into their Drifblim very soon here. Have to shield this up, and then they're most likely going to swap. There's the Drifblim. Able to get to this Leaf Blade and most likely burn the final shield. but they actually let it go. Very nice play on their part, because they know that they can farm me down with the Munchlax and then be able to get to a body slam to take out my Licky. Really tough alignment there. Drifblim in the lead against the GALLADE, and then when the Licky is hard punished by Lucario, that's able to ramp up and have that really strong energy. Very tough to come back from. Another Froslass in the lead. If you sneak a Confusion, you're able to outpace to these moves. My opponent throws right in the middle of my Confusion, so they had enough energy for Shadow Ball. They go for Avalanche, makes sense. I have 2 Leaf Blades stored here. It's very tempting to throw these back to back, but sometimes my opponents try to make a catch. This opponent is going to throw another move, so I'll shield this up. And able to farm this all the way down, which I was very surprised by. And they bring in a Bastiodon, so I have no idea what's in the back. Potentially a Toxicroak or some sort of a fighter, and that's exactly what it is. The only reason you would ever bring in a Bastiodon against a loaded GALLADE is if you're weak to it in the back. So able to take it out, and because I was quick on my Empoleon response there, able to land that Drill Peck, and we're going to be able to take out this Bastiodon and win the game. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Have a couple more videos coming with some SINNOH Cup battles, but pretty interesting format. Definitely a condensed meta, and let me know in the comments what teams have been working for you or what you've been seeing. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.